Hello, happy Monday. How is everybody? Okay, why are there okay. Um I'm going to say hi to everyone first. How's your weekend, people? Carla, Z, Arashi, Maritz, Army, RJ, Cindy, Andy Big Night, Tabby, Rachel, Leia, Norwegian Wood, Reg Spear, Alicia A. Brown, Carla Girl, Lisa Parker, Sarah Bangluna, Nikon Lady, Norwegian, iCarmi, Maritz, Emily, Azurel, Azurel, Azurella, or Azurea. Pia, you want to come? You wanna come? Okay. Hello. Say hi to everybody, baby. Okay, excuse me. Say hi. Okay, there you go. Here is the most important entity in the live chat, the dog. Okay, where was I? Azurea, Pia, Orchid, Army, Halina, Hanaka, Susan, OSP, Cindy, MLB, um, Aid Banks, Kez M, PZ 48128, Tonichi, Norwegian Wood, EG X136, Pia, Viet Crown, um, they're out. They're out. Maritz Saskia, Dodger Girl is on Twitch. Beethoven, Salmar, Jane, Coogie also on Twitch. B Bomac, Kathy, the only one, the one and only. Army, Salmar, Luvin Mami is on X. Debak, GD, Angel Star, Norwegian Wood, Jane, Cindy, Rachel. Okay, I think I've said hi to everybody. Linax, I love Bangtan, Leah, Abby Chimi, Michelle Santiago, Hanais Kaniki, 2039, Alexandragon. I'm glad again for being sick. Z Arashi Norwegian, BTS 7+1, Abby Chimi, Green Malta, Marilyn Montalvo, Rebecca, Senri, Taryn, Woox, Woo X, One Rees, 397. That's a very complicated name. Pinayon, say hi. BTS 7+1, Len, Lee, Shelling, Hoan, Norwegian Wood, Arlene. Okay, hi everybody. How's everyone? You miss Debak? He is here. Hi, Crystal. So I know I posted 4 topics, I think. One, two, three, four. I think I'll be able to cover one and two. Because the two turned out to be a pretty long one. Although I think I'll be able to touch a little on the major projects of Asian Acts, but I am not going to push it because there's a lot more important stuff that we need to discuss in connection to the RM live stream. It's sort of I just some things that I realized later after I finished doing the video that I published as a reaction on the live stream, because that's just what RN does to me. He makes me think. um so yeah, I'll do that first. And I think it's going to be a pretty long one. Also, just want to thank everybody who's been sending me messages, people that are sending me like feedback on suggestions on how I can do the live stream better. I know that it's not for everybody. Like me greeting everybody, for example, at the beginning of the live stream, it's not something that everyone likes or whatever. So for other people, they were like, "Can you skip that so that we can just go into the discussion earlier?" Some of you are requesting that I don't interact as much, or at least cut it down by half or something like that. And so I hear all of your suggestions. I do think about them. And I understand people that are, they just want to hear what I have to say and not necessarily what other people are saying on the live chat. So I I do like the interaction. I think this is one of the few venues where people can actually hear from other people, and I can actually like broadcast some of the points of view of other people. But I do get where you're coming from. And I'm thinking of a way how I can marry both. For those that don't really they're not really after the interaction, and they just want to listen to me. And then there are those that actually like the interaction. So I'm thinking about how to do things better for 2026. I think that's one of the assignments. Oh, let me go live on Instagram. Okay, so that's another thing that a lot of people told me about. It's like I'm not always on Instagram. Okay, so do do know that I listen to suggestions, and I'll try, I weigh them out, and whatever feels right is what I'll do, but I listen to everything. Okay. I like you interacting with us. Besides, it's your channel and you have to be authentic to yourself. Okay. Thank you. If you don't interact, what is the point of a live stream? Good point. Okay, so RM, I don't mean to be negative, but you are very interactive, which is very you. Otherwise, the others can listen to your live once recorded. I love the long form and your interaction. Thank you so much. Okay, I like it, but then I'm in the chat, so just do what you want. You're doing awesome. You're doing awesome. Do whatever it is that you want. Click on the top right and chat will disappear. We have the option to close the chat and just listen to her. Okay. So, as you know, I published a video as just some of my thoughts after his live stream. And so after that, because it's RM, he makes me think about things. And so there are some additional thoughts that came in my head after. So I actually rewatched it twice. So what happened was that so I watched it live, that's first. And I do understand a little of Korean. I'm no not even close to being fluent. I reached number 5th grade. But that was like before the pandemic. So for you to actually really sustain the language, you do need to speak it daily, which is what's something that I don't do. I try to brush up on my Korean by watching shows and listening to music without the subtitles, watching shows without the subtitles, and then listening to Korean songs. But it's really hard if you're not in the country or if you're not in a community that speaks Korean on a daily basis. I do have a close community who are Koreans, and I'm being forced to speak their language when I am with them because they want me to speak to them in Korean because I did tell them that I want to practice Korean. So, so I was listening to him live. So I was sort of half leaning or relying on the subtitles and then also trying to hear it from me. So that kind of gave me some idea on what he was talking about. And then I sat down with a friend of mine who, as you know, one of my friends who helped me sort of break down the nuances of what he was talking about. And so that's kind of how I usually understand what it is that they are saying. And that actually works for me because they are able to translate it they've been in the US for more than 15 years, I think, this group of friends of mine. 15, maybe more than that, and they are professionals here, so they speak English on a daily basis. So they're the closest that I have to having someone that speaks both languages fluently. And so they are able to translate the nuances in Korean to the nuances of the American language, the English language. So, but I do know that there are a lot of other translators online that you guys listen to, and I think that would help as well. It's just that for me, this is what works. So I usually wait for them, and then I do read translations on X. There are people who send me translations. I read them and then I compare them with what my friends tell me. So I kind of have several points of reference. Okay, so whatever it is that I'm going to be saying, it came out of those, I guess, different sources and me making sense out of everything that they are saying. So RM has been BTS's general for many years. Time has passed and its members are grown adults. Now the general is now retired. Maybe RM is rethinking his place with his brothers. I hope BTS members can have a wonderful holiday season with all the shit that's going on. But I've seen comments by native speaker that RM uses many unusual words. Yeah, he does. Yeah. Yep. There are, yes. So I'll explain a little bit of that. Actually, there are some things that I want to share with you guys that I will be sharing in the members only live stream this Friday. I don't want to risk saying them here because I don't want it to get misinterpreted. So after this, there are several more things that I want to share with you that these people shared with me that I don't think anyone has shared yet, or maybe they have. I don't know. Okay, so he posted on Weavers after he went on live and he said, "I'm sorry, I feel like," what is that? Sorry. um, Here you go. I am sorry, that did not help. I'm sorry, I feel like my live 2 days ago might have exhausted a lot of armies. I got so many messages from people worrying about me. I kind of regret turning it on. I should have just held it in, but my frustration got ahead of me. I'm sorry. Please try to look at me kindly just a little. I'll focus on making music, practicing choreography with the members, thinking about the new content, sleeping well, and just living like that. I'm taking the driving test soon. Good luck to him. I'm very excited for his driving test, by the way. Yesterday, I put the practice driving stickers on the car and drove all 4 courses. It was scary, but I didn't crash. And yesterday I watched The Color of Pomegranates. My home, I haven't watched that movie, and my home interior is finally finished. So after half a year, I can move back in soon. Once everything is set up, I'll show it to you. I took out my snow dock mold because I wanted to make one, but it melted. For those who don't remember, every Christmas he does this. The um DTS, Doc Tang Sonyondan. So he would make 7 docs. It's so cold these days. Please dress warmly. Don't catch a cold. Okay, that's all for now. So he was sort of apologizing for, not really apologizing for what he said, just apologizing for at least how I interpreted it, for how it actually made us feel. Okay, so I'm very excited for his driving test. I hope he passes it, and please send all the good juju that you have towards him to Korea. Tiny Daktans. I think that's how he called it. So um so I think if there's anything like, let's be excited about that. I hope that he hears that. We're excited for him taking the driving test, finally getting a car, because we all know that for the longest time he was actually avoiding it. And I remember him saying that the reason he avoided getting a driver's license is that he knows he's very careless. That's why he's accident prone. So it's kind of scary that maybe he's going to get into an accident or whatever. But the mere fact that he's doing it right now means that he is trying to sort of juice up his life a little bit. So I hope that that's one thing that he will hear from us, that we're happy that he's taking the driver's license, driver's test, and I hope that's send him good vibes so that he passes it. Um, Someone suggested we chart groin when he passes. He's a pro rider. Well, he's gonna have to be a pro driver now. I'll be honest. I'm a little concerned about the God of Destruction driving. I think that's he was concerned about that. That's why because I remember him very very clearly saying that he didn't want to pass. He didn't want to get a driver's license because he was scared of that. But things change. They are evolving. So maybe He's not gonna get it. I'm sure he's not gonna get into an accident. I am very, very sure he'll be very, very careful. Okay, so other things that I did not mention in the live stream that I would like to sort of highlight, one of which is that he did mention don't look for other members moment in the live stream. And a lot of people, as you know, it's haters and solos and shippers will always have something to say no matter what they say. They can sing praises on someone else and it will still be taken out of context by solos and toxic solos, not solos, but toxic solos and all of those stuff. And so one of the prevailing narrative that I heard that was sent to me was that a lot of solos are saying that why is he complaining about it when it happens to every member? So there's I don't know how you do when you watch their live stream. I'm not really sure where your concentration is. But as for me, when I watch their live stream, I'm really concentrating on them. And if I want to send a message, I'll just send a message. And it's usually just like congratulations or you're doing well, or it's just positive messages to all of them. But apparently this is something that happens to all the members. So they felt like, well, why is he calling us out on that when it happens to other members and other members don't complain about it? And the response is that, well, they can say something about it. And just because it is okay and fine for one member doesn't mean that it has to be okay for other members. So for him, he said it very clearly. It offends him, it hurts him. So let's stop doing it. Now, I because he said it, I do think that those that hate him, there are a lot because when you are popular, you have many haters. So those that are hating on him will most likely keep on doing that. They'll keep on sending that message because they know it hurts him and they want to hurt him. Okay. But I do think that it is very healthy that he addressed that. And we can help by spamming him with good messages, right? If they can spam bad messages, we can spam good messages. So let's just continue sending him good messages whenever he goes on live. But also, let's appreciate that he's finally giving himself permission to express when something hurts. Because if you would remember that shock that we all experienced in 2018 was all because they held it in. They've been going through something for the longest time and they held it in. And finally, he's here talking about can't they block on Weavers? They can. But if you would remember, just I think this after just V actually said that he simply can't catch up. So even if they want to block, how are they going to we've seen how fast the live stream the chat goes whenever they do a live stream. Why am I blurry? Okay. So we've seen how fast it goes. So it's kind of difficult to catch up. Now, I do think that Big Hit should have a staff that would block it. But also the question is that, up to when are you going to block, right? There are some people who don't know that it's just offensive. But okay, so now that, but the question is, yes, they can block. And I think there should be a staff that should be blocking people that are in the chat room that are just sending vile messages or malicious messages. But I think we need to appreciate the fact that he's allowing himself to talk about the pain, no matter what hurts him. Because as I've said back in 2018, we all got the shock of our lives because people didn't have any idea that it was that bad. But a lot of armies knew that they were having a hard time catching up with their schedule, but no one thought that it was that serious to the point that they were actually thinking about disbandment. So let's appreciate that he's actually expressing himself to us. Next is that I think part of loving anybody and part of loving an artist is that you respect their boundaries and that this is their boundary, this is his boundary, and I think we should respect that. Unfortunately, Lady Pink, thank you very much for that. But Fairlane, do we know who is messaging Namjoon? Gosh, it's exhausting for him to get negative feedback. He has mentioned on more than one occasion that people keep on contacting him. Yeah, I think it's people around him. I'm sure that the closest to him, the family members, his friends, I'm sure that they know their boundaries. But you do have people that you know casually and they have your number, whatever, and they'll talk with you about it. So these are people in his life that we cannot control. Like that's just, we don't know who they are. It's just something that we, yeah, just beyond us. Who they are is beyond us. It's just part of his life, unfortunately. So we can counter that by posting good messages. And as I've said, for this specific one, I think instead of like blasting on other armies or like being angry about other armies, I think the prevailing narrative should be that it's to appreciate that he is allowing himself to express when it hurts, right? I think because those that need to hear what he said heard it already. The haters are always listening to him no matter what he say. They heard it. They know that. So at this point, it's beyond our control. The one thing that we can control, though, is how we're going to react to him. So instead of, as I've said, blasting other armies or blasting on the haters and saying that you guys are violent, fighting, and whatever, what we should just turn our attention to him and appreciate that he's allowing himself to open up, to say it when it hurts. So yeah, but to answer your question, who they are, that's beyond us. I think these are just people in his life that are giving him feedback. Um, so that's one. You know, just part of it is respecting their boundary, and we need to respect that, but also appreciate the fact that he's opening up to us. Okay. And then the other thing is that he did talk about the positive influence. He talked about how he's not sure what positive influence is. Like he doesn't know how to balance that against the fact that he is a flawed individual, just human, imperfect. He makes mistakes, and that he knows he's going to do things that will disappoint us. So I think that tension between wanting to do good and also knowing that you'll never be perfect is just a very adult, very human, and very far from the idle fantasy people project into him. And I think that's a real struggle for anybody who has an audience. That's true for anybody who has an audience. It's true for even for a small creator like me, right? Um, so if that is the case, the question then is, how do we make him realize that we don't really want perfection and that we're not looking for perfection from him or from anybody? It's just that he highlights good things and that we pick up on those good things. I think that's for us, for armies, that's the challenge. That's the message that we should be sending him, because I think him finding that balance will be a personal journey. We can provide him the answers. And I don't think RM is the type that would look at someone to get an answer from. I think he's someone that would take the journey himself. Like he can listen to different points of view, look at different lives, other people's lives, and then from there learn. But I think we can provide him the answer to this question, because his primary question is that, how do I balance that? I'm a flawed individual, a human being, and then you're looking at me for positive influence, right? That's the question, and that's a very difficult question to answer, especially if you're not living the kind of life that he's living. So the only thing that we can do as fans is to just reaffirm to him that we do not need perfection, that just the mere fact that you're highlighting the life that you are living is just enough, and we will find the balance as fans, and then he will take his own journey. um so it's hard for them to realize that perfection is not important, because it's a crucial expected quality in the world that they are in, sadly. um Congratulations to BTS for the AA 10-year award. Yeah, congratulations to them. But that AAA award is an entirely okay. And then okay, so this part is very important. So he did open up about overthinking, about sleeplessness because he said he's having trouble sleeping, and of course the military aftershock. Okay, so um, one of the things that I realized, even about myself, by the way, I'm not exempted to what I'm about to say. One of the things that I realized after listening to what he said and reading through the translations and all is that a lot of people don't know how to listen, right? A lot of people has the tendency to weigh in whenever somebody is opening up. And and I think that is what he needed on that live stream, is for armies to listen to him. He just needed somebody that will listen to him and not necessarily react to what he's saying or respond to what he's saying or weigh in or provide him the answers on questions that he's asking. And there were so many who missed it. And that included me, because I realized this just only after, that what he needed was somebody to listen. And it's important because this is something that we could also apply in our lives. Like, a lot of people would open up to us, friends, family members, and they won't necessarily need responses. They just need somebody to listen. And I think at that moment when he opened that live stream, he wasn't really looking for answers from us. He just needed somebody to listen. And I thought that he went to armies primarily because the next to BTS, it would be armies who would know what he's going through. Um, and it was disappointing that he didn't get a lot of that. He didn't get a lot of ears listening to him. He got a lot of people wanting to react to what he was saying when that was not something that he wanted. And I actually, I'm studying psychology now, so applied psychology actually. So we're one of the reasons is that we were socialized to respond and not necessarily to listen, because that's how we grew up. From childhood, we are taught to respond to communications. That when somebody talk to us, we have to respond. So um so like, for example, if someone speaks, you need to acknowledge and you need to respond to what they're saying. If they need something, um they they for us, we think that to affirm the message of that person who's talking, for them to realize that we're hearing them, the best way to do that is by responding. um and so through by when we grow up, while growing up, we are taught that silence is treated like awkwardness, like reflection is treated like distance. Like, if you just stare and you keep quiet, that is treated as distance, as indifference to a certain degree. um so so that's where it's stemming from. That's where our need to respond stems from. A lot of people, and as I've said, this includes me, by the way, I'm not an exception to this. Like, our way of affirming someone, of making some people realize that we are listening, is by responding. But that's just not, most of the time when you grow up, that's not what you need. Sometimes you just need somebody to listen. And I think that's what he needed at that time. He just needed to vent. He needed us to hear as he navigates this change or evolution in his life. The way his role in BTS is changing, his need as an artist is changing, his desire to live a better life is changing. He just wanted to talk, I guess. And a lot of people responded when that's not what he needed. And then people feel responsible, I think, for fixing the other person's pain. And this is very, very common among armies, because we always want to help BTS members, right? When they are in trouble, armies want to fix it. We want to do everything for them because we want to give them the best. So when a song is falling in the chart, we need to stream it so that it goes up in the chart. If they're not number one, we need to buy more. We need to stream more so that they end up in number one. Whenever someone says something against them, we want to respond because we don't ever want the negative narrative to get some steam. So and that's not I mean, the intention is not evil. It's just that it's not always appropriate. It's not bad, it's just not always appropriate. So when they are, for example, for RM, when he was being emotional and vulnerable, armies was like panicking, like, what, why is he sad, why is it? So the thought process is that I need to help, I need to say something, I need to fix this. I'm failing as a friend, I'm failing as an army because why is the leader of my favorite band feeling this? Like, this is a failure. He should not be feeling this. And so the problem is that most people confuse that the only way to help is to fix, when in fact you can also help just by listening. So I guess that's the challenge, that how do armies also realize that you don't always need to fix them or fix their problem. Like, just being understanding, hearing, actually understanding what he's saying is a big help for them. And most of the time, if you are talking about someone as intelligent and as emotionally evolved as RM, they really don't need your fixing. They just need you to listen. So most of the time, instead of just listening, a lot of people give advice, they tell a story. I'm sure that you've encountered this, right? Like, if when you're someone is opening up and someone will just butt in and say, oh yeah, I remember when this happened to me, this, you they offer their own story. Or sometimes they rationalize the situation, or they minimize the emotion, thinking that it's going to make the other person realize that, okay, it's not a big deal, when um when it is a big deal. And but don't, it's not necessarily that it's not necessary. I'm not saying that it is bad. As I've said, the intention may be right. It's just that it's not always appropriate, and it's not really like cruelty. Sometimes people just avoid feeling not being able to help. So, and then other people actually fear saying nothing will be misread as indifference. So if armies don't say anything, a lot of them feel that if we don't trend it, if RM doesn't hear that we're responding to it, that we're actually talking about it, he might think that we are indifferent, or that what he said is not important to us, or that he's not important to us, or that he's not popular. So the tendency is to analyze and to offer solutions and to talk and whatever. I actually remember that right at the day after that happened, a lot of people on X were like, "Oh, let's start a project, let's launch a project, let's do this and let's do." And again, those are great, and I do think that it's going to help BTS maintain the noise about their name while we wait for their comeback. But it's just that for that specific live stream, I don't think it's necessarily what he needs. What he needs is for us to just listen. So, do you want to go down, baby? Okay. So, and then the other is that emotional labor is actually not natural to for everybody. Listening deeply requires patience. We don't have a lot of that. I don't have a lot of that. Emotional regulation, humility, and also the willingness to center someone else without inserting your life. Because it's like, when you are, for example, in that space, when you're talking to somebody, or when someone is opening up to you, for you to really listen and for you to really understand what they're saying, you're going to have to give up your main character syndrome. You have to give up your spot and actually make that person the center of the attention in that moment, in your time and in your moment. You're going to have to give up your main character syndrome and allow the other person to be the center. And so that's a very mature thing to do, and not a lot of armies actually not a lot of people have that, and I struggle with that as still, right? Because our tendency is to make ourselves the center of our own world. Okay. So hi Debak, he's there saying hi to you, baby. Say hi, I'm here, I'm here. um so I think we just need to sort of train ourselves and help others as well. We need to help each other, actually. I think that's the best way of saying it. We need to help each other um, understand that understanding is not the same as analyzing. That when someone is being vulnerable and when someone is opening it up, when any member of BTS is doing that, or anybody in our lives for that matter, um, we need to we don't need to be the moral anchor. We don't need to determine who's right or who's wrong. Are you okay? Do you want to go down? Do you want to go down? Say bye bye to everybody. Say bye bye. Oh, you just want that? Okay. I say bye bye to everybody. Say bye bye. He just want to move. Okay. Bye. It's his moment. Yeah. Oh, now you don't want. He doesn't want to get down. Hmm, okay. Go down. So, a lot of people, when someone is being vulnerable, and this is something that happened during that live stream, people are trying to decode the situation. When he said something, there are people like, oh, what happened? Is there a problem in the band or whatever? And people are trying to put blame on anybody who made him feel this way. Why are they disbanding or whatever? They try to identify this was so prevalent in social media. I on X and on Facebook, people were theorizing this happened. Oh, someone said this in the past, and this is connected to that, and whatever. And when you are sharing emotionally, it's rarely logical. It's more about your emotions. So it was an in again. Those things are not necessarily bad, but it's just an inappropriate thing to do at that moment, and an inappropriate reaction to what he was saying. And then the other thing is that people simply has not been listened to, which is probably the saddest reason. It's the saddest thing, the saddest explanation why people aren't capable of just listening. It's because they've never listened to. They've never actually experienced how it is to just talk and have someone there that will just understand what they're saying, that will just accept it and will just understand and be empathetic. So a lot of people don't know how to listen because they have never listened to. So maybe this is something that the fandom can actually work on. That when maybe that's a place for us to start and then apply it in our daily life, so that when someone is actually opening up, we realize, okay, we don't necessarily have to fix this. We don't need to do something about it. We don't need to rationalize this or put a blame on anybody, or and maybe not even try to make the other person feel better, but just allow the other person to talk. And I wish that that was just what happened, for people to just let him talk, just let him get it out of his system. Because as I've said in the video that I published this morning, RM is obviously brilliant in ways that obviously weighs on him, um, often. And when you are both intelligent and sensitive at the same time, it's something that you simply cannot fix. You can't not fix, but you can't shake it off. That's just something. That's just a just that's just a crown that you will have to carry your entire life. There's something that he needs to deal with his entire life. And so yeah, I think RM just needed us to listen. So not and I don't mean that in a vague emotional sense, but structurally, I think everything about that live stream actually pointed to someone who needed to be heard, not necessarily someone who needed to be reassured or debated. In fact, right in the opening, he was very clearly sort of expressing that's what he needed, because he said something about shortcomings. Like, I can't talk for someone else anymore. I myself have my own shortcomings. And I think that's his way of saying, don't put me in that position of explaining or fixing everything for everyone. I just need space to talk. I think that was the subtext when he said that I can't speak for anybody. It's him saying, I'm not here to solve anybody's problem or to fix anything, because I have my own issues as well. I just need to talk and I need people to listen to me. So I think he told us exactly what he needed to speak within his limits as a person, as one person, not as a spokesperson for the six other members or for the company. And I think that already sets the tone for the rest of the live stream that as many people missed, including me. He also spoke in emotional arcs. If you would listen closely to what he was saying, he was actually processing things out loud and in real time. And so that's why a lot of the things that he was saying, sometimes he would state like the conclusion first and then try to explain what it was. Right. Because I think he was also trying to make sense of how he was feeling, his what he was thinking. So I think that should have been a clue. So for example, like, oh, I can't speak for my group anymore. And then he would explain like why, because of this, they grew up and whatever, and now we're practicing. So it felt like he was going backwards. Conclusion first, and then he would explain things. And something like that requires a listening audience, not necessarily a reactive one. And also, he admitted to being tired and being overwhelmed. So he said that he was struggling with sleep. And so, again, that's a cue for people to be a bit more soft. Sleep is very important. If you don't get enough of that, you don't get your premium performance, your premium condition as a human being to think and to talk. Okay, so then the disbandment moment. So I said in the video there were two ways it was being translated. So um my friend said that he didn't actually say disband. It was more like stop, that we could have stopped all of this, or this could have stopped that this many things happened in the past that could have stopped the band or something like that. But the word disbandment itself was not there actually. It's just that people interpreted it that way. But I don't think it also matters as much, because I think what he was saying is that, and I've said this in my live stream, that we have gone through this is why I felt he was saying, like, we have gone through hard moments and we chose each other anyway. So it was him sort of comforting armies. A lot of armies were worried what's going to happen. They haven't done anything. Um, and then armies try, or people, and a lot of haters were trying to rationalize what he was saying, like, oh, so this is not a solid band because you were disbanding anyway. And as I've said in the video that I created, these are 7 strong-willed artists. All of them are intelligent. All of them are successful solo artists now. We know that. It's actually a miracle that they continue to want to be together after all the successes that they have gone through, that they have experienced, and everything that they have gone through. It's natural. If a couple who are solid and very much in love goes through moments of disagreement and moments when they feel like it would be easier to separate, why can't a group with 7 members? But he was really offering us that assurance, and people tried to pick it apart. So I think it was RM asking Army to sit with him, not necessarily as a spokesperson, or as a leader, and not even as an all-knowing figure or as a genius RM or a guy with 145 IQ. He was just being a human being. He was just a guy asking his friends that you don't really see, that he doesn't really see, to talk through what to talk through the weight that he was carrying. So I honestly, like as an army, I don't know how to help each other. Like, how can we actually help each other and get trained? Because I feel like in the coming months and years, maybe this is something that will be more common. When they talk, it will be them necessary it won't be them necessarily asking for affirmation or asking us to solve a problem for them. I think it will just be mostly for us to listen to what they're saying. So that is the I think that's the most important, like, thing that came to me that I realized, wait a minute, I feel like he just wanted us to listen, and a lot of people actually missed it. I missed it. So also he said something about, I don't have the authority to talk about certain things, and this is a question that I actually got, and this is actually segueing into another topic. Um, but do you have questions? Do you have reactions before I proceed? It's Namjoon Stern was really cool of V. I really, really, really disagree. I don't think he was referring to the past. I'm pretty sure he was talking about the very present. He stated clearly that now the best would be to disband. Um, he said that. So how my friend translated it is that we have gone through so many things that could have broken us apart. That's how it was translated. So it's, I guess, present participle. Is that what you call it? I think it was him saying that they, just as a band, they go through a lot of things that could break them apart. But at the end of the day, they still choose to listen to they still choose to be together. And as I've said, I think the focus is not on whether or not they were going to that they almost broke up in the past or whatever. I think the focus is on the next sentence, and that's when he said that despite all of that, we choose each other, and that he was happy that they are together. He's really grateful for whatever it is that they're doing right now. And he continued on to share about, the band being there, practicing, looking at and then, like, realizing how they look at each other and realizing, oh yeah, it's still there, like, we're still us. So I think that's the focus, not on the broke up part or disbandment part. um we need to get this band out of our heads. For me, in my heart, BTS is unbreakable and unstoppable. I know you are with me on that. Despite all they go through in the daily basis, they keep on coming back together. Yeah, I think and I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% sure, that that's the point of what he was talking about. That despite everything that they go through, personal, professional, public, private, they still continue choosing each other. I think that's the point. So the part about disbandment or broke up or breakup is not the point. That was a setup for the main point. The main point is that they continue to choose each other. And I think that's also the something that we need to get in our heads as armies, right? And as I've said, this is a decision that we have to make once they come back together and offer their music again. I think the one thing that we need to realize is that no one in BTS needs each other. They don't need each other anymore. BTS do not need each other. On a professional level, they each are successful on their own, and they will become even more successful in the future once they restart their solo activities. So them choosing being together is a choice they're making. They're choosing it because they want it, not because they need it. So, um, okay, so let's continue. So this is a question that I got, and this was about, again, because people like picking up what he says and then just choosing like a segment of it without proper context. So the question was about him talking about not having the authority to talk about certain things, right? He said that number one, he can't talk in behalf of his group mates anymore. He said that it's not appropriate anymore. It's not, yeah, it's not appropriate anymore. And then he also talked about like things that are happening in the company. And so a lot of people, especially haters, were talking about like, okay, so then they are right in saying that BTS does not control their own career or their own creatives. Okay, so let's just talk about that a little bit. The concept of absolute control does not exist in its strictest concept. Like absolute control does not exist. Not even if you create a puppet, because you are in the if you create a puppet, you're still in the mercy of physics, right? The law of physics. So no matter what you do, you're always somebody else's authority. Okay, so that rule applies to everybody, not just to them, not just to just something that we all have to adhere to. It could be law of physics, science, or it could be just the government, having their own laws and whatever. Okay. So it does not exist. Absolute control does not exist. So in its strictest sense. So if the question is, so are you saying that BTS does not have absolute control? Of course they do not. Nobody does. Nobody does. Okay. Okay, not even the dictators they don't have. So people think that if you put up, and this is a big misconception, and a lot of people are talking about this, like they should just put up their own agency and they just separate. They should become like an independent agency, put up their own agency that will manage their own career. So if you think that if you put up your own business or create your own agency or manage yourself, that you can do whatever it is that you want, is total and absolute bull s BS. No. Even if you put up your own business, you cannot just do whatever it is that you want. In fact, when you put up your own business, you have more responsibility than any of your employee. You have there are more obligations on your desk than any of your employee. You have more obligations than all of your employees put together. So no, just because you think just because they a lot of people say that I am free because I'm not under the control of an agency doesn't mean that you can do whatever it is that you want. Anybody who says that does not know anything about business, does not know anything about how the world works. Okay? So number 1, obviously, there is the regulations and laws. Every country has it. So if an age, for example, so I'll just frame this from the point of view of an artist, right? From artists like them. If they perform in a country, of course, they need to adhere to the regulations and the laws of that country. If that country does not allow you to wear shorts or just shorts or whatever, skimpy clothes or whatever, then you're not going to do that. And if you're an artist who likes wearing skimpy clothes, then you just either don't perform in that country or you're going to have to adhere to their laws. So that in itself shows you that no, you do not have absolute control at every point of every aspect of your career. Okay. Absolutely, Fairly, and anyone who says that has never worked or has never lived, I guess, or has never thought of anything, does not think of anything at all. um okay, so you can basically the rule of thumb is that you can create whatever it is that you want, right? Whatever, you can create any song, you can write any script, you can do any kind of stage play, whatever it is that you want, you have the freedom to do that in the privacy of your own home. Especially, it does not mean that you can put it out or sell it. So if there is an independent artist saying that I want to talk about murdering everybody, okay, you can do that. You can talk about that. It doesn't mean that you can put it out on the radio or streaming platform or sell it. Those are two different things. Okay, so because you are in the mercy and control and authority of regulations and laws. So going back to BTS, no, they don't have absolute control about over their own art in this regard. Okay, nobody does, by the way. Um, so you can write a song, a poem, a script, or a book about how you can betray the government. It's illegal for you to put it out. That's treason. Okay, so the same thing is true with BTS. They can create any song that they want, create any kind of music video that they want. Does not mean that it will be allowed to be streamed in the United States of America. Okay. So again, not absolute control. So for example, genius management. Suga for some reason decides, okay, I'm going to put up my own agency. Genius management will now have to apply for permits. The mere fact that you're applying for permits, you're going to have to then abide by the regulations of that country when it comes to businesses. So um, the fees that you need to the fees that you need to pay, the structure of your company, your bylaws, that will have to follow the guidelines set forth by the government. Again, you don't have absolute control. Okay. Next, if you say or do something against the regulations, then they can fine you, deny your permit, or even dissolve your business. Okay. So again, no absolute control. If then you have, for example, Suga has his own management company, he's going to hire employees. These employees will become his responsibility. And that means that their pay, Suga will have to think about that. Where am I going to get the money to pay them? It's not cheap to actually employ anybody. Okay. So they are your responsibility. And a lot of people don't know this, but a company spends twice the amount an employee's salary to keep an employee. So if I'm paying somebody, just for example, if I'm paying somebody 100,000 a year, I'm actually spending. So you are getting 100,000 a year gross, for example. Me as a company will have to spend 200,000 a year. So that 100,000 goes to you and 100,000 goes to taxes, benefits, supplies, more taxes, incidentals, insurance, etc., and then more taxes. So just because an employee gets 100,000 a year doesn't mean that that's all I'm spending as an employee. And genius management, if it is owned by Suga, will then have to think about that. Okay, so if I have, for example, let's just say he's paying people 50,000 a year and he has 5 employees. That's 250,000 a year multiplied by two, $500,000. So that means that on every year, he needs to cough up $500,000 to maintain 5 employees that are getting 50,000 a year. Okay. So then again, you can't just stop working when you want to, because then you have all of these obligations to your employees. You can't just rest. You can't just say, okay, I don't want to work today because I just don't feel like it. No. If you're the owner of the employee, the company, the more you have to work because you need to now think about your employees. So you need the money, you need the cash flow. So all of these people that are talking about, oh, BTS should just put up their own agency, do you think that's easy? They're just going to have to grind in order to just grind endlessly because they need the cash flow in order to maintain these people. The employees that Big Hit is maintaining will become their employees, it'll become their responsibilities. As outside of that, you have to abide by the regulations of streaming platforms, for example. So you you can't just open an account in Spotify and then upload your music there. The same thing is true with Apple Music. You can't do that. They have their own regulations that you need to follow, certain quality of your music that you need to follow. That's why you have distributors, because they will be the ones to think about that. So when you upload a music, it's not just opening an account in Apple Music as an artist or Spotify. It has to go through legal. Because what if another artist says that that is my song that she uploaded? That's a problem, right? So you don't want that as an agency. So what they're doing, what Spotify and other all of this music platform did, is to have a third party, a middleman between the artist and them, so that they don't deal with the artist directly. So what this middle man, the distributors do is make sure that you have all the permits, that the song that you are uploading is really yours. So you have all the legal permits, all the documentations that you need. And then they also need to make sure that your artwork is at par with the regulations and the requirements of the streaming platform. They also make sure that the quality of your song is good, especially with Apple Music. They're so strict. The sound of Apple Music is really great. So you have to record it a certain way, you have to burn it a certain way. If that doesn't meet the requirement, then it will be the third party that will be dealing with you. So if an artist can just go directly to Spotify and Apple Music, imagine the kind of quality that all of these songs are going that they are going to have. And also imagine the kind of manpower that Apple Music and Spotify will need, as opposed to having a middleman. So Spotify is just working with this 10 companies. I just work with 10 companies. You submit this to me, you're liable to whatever it is that you're submitting. So again, no absolute control. They still have to abide by the requirements and the minimum requirements of all of these streaming platforms. If, for example, BTS signs leaves Hybe and they move to another agency, they have to move to one of the majors. So majors is the like industry term for the major labels like Columbia, Warner, Sony. So that's what I mean when I say majors. So they need to sign with one of the majors because they're too big to be handled by an independent agency. That's why, for example, observe what Blackpink actually did. If you would observe, they actually signed with a major because in their heads, and this is true, well, they're too big. If based on the goals that they have for themselves, they can't afford to just have their own agency do everything. They're still going to have to sign with one of them, with one of this. So it could be Virgin, Columbia, Geffen, Epic, whatever, one of the majors. And you don't get freedom when you're in one of the majors. If you would remember, I'm sure that you all know Halsey in the latest interview she did with um Zach Lowe. Did I get the name right? So in Apple Music, he actually said that her own label, she's already a big name in the US. And she said that the label that she signed with won't allow her to release another album. She sold 100,000 of physicals in the last album that she released, and the label won't let her sign up and do another record because to them it's not good enough. That's the kind of agency they're going to be signing with. So all of this illusion about BTS, moving to one of the majors or opening their own agency, it's not as easy as people think it is. So if they are getting what they want from Big Hit, why leave? Okay. Um, And then so the bottom line is that when we say BTS has control over their own careers, the takeoff point is the limitations and the regulations by which everyone must abide. That's your takeoff point. So everyone, regardless of who they are, must abide by certain regulations and by certain limitations. And the bigger the company is, because Hybe is already big, then there are more limitations. You gain power. You also gain limitations. Because you're not just thinking about, and I've said this in the video that I published, you're not just thinking about yourself and your own music. You're also thinking about this 800,000 employees. You're thinking about your group mates, making sure that they don't get banned in a country. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to anger the leaders in a country and then you get banned from there. Armies are waiting for you there. They want to perform in as many countries as they could. Okay. So those are just the limitations. The bigger the company is, more limitations you have. So when we say they have absolute control, your takeoff point will always be the limitations and the regulations that everyone must abide by. But absolute control does not exist. Anybody who says that is not a human being, I guess. So if BTS goes independent, the need of one majors to support them in order to continue, they need one of the majors to support them in order to continue their global move. It can't be anything less. It can't be anything less. And the truth, especially because they're just picking up globally as an independent artist. And all of this from Columbia to Geffen to Sony, they have more limitations than this. So it's still better at this stage in their career to stay with Hybe. Will that change? Oh, probably. I don't know what they're gonna. I've learned not to second guess their the way that they think. But that is the reason they still are staying. And the point is that just because they go independent doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It's going to be harder for sure. And they will not have that freedom that you think they will have. That's not true. They're going to have more responsibility. Is Hybe on its way to be a major? Yes. I think their goal is to be at par. So right now they are fourth, but it's the distance between the third and the fourth is very big. So I think their objective is to close the gap first between the fourth and the third, and then eventually take over. They certainly are making moves. They're going global. They're opening all of these offices in different countries, and that's a sure sign of trying to go global. Um, yeah. So BTS and each member has control over the type of material they will put out within the bounds of the law and the contracts. That's what it means. Again, no one has absolute control over anything, and that includes BTS. But if they transfer to a US major, contracts dictate number of albums, not years. That's how we do contracts here. So, for example, in South Korea, as you know, they have the 7-year contract, right? So, for 7 years, you're under contract with an agency. But when you transfer to a major, it's usually number of albums. So you usually like they tell you, okay, you need to give me 7 albums, and that's going to take however long it's going to take. So for Halsey, if the contract that she signed is 5 albums, and now she's not being allowed to release another album, then she's in trouble because she's locked for 4 more. Okay. Um, so yeah, so if the contract goes beyond distribution, right? Because most likely some will just partner with a major for distribution. But if it ever goes beyond distribution, then the label will have a say on whatever it is that they will put out. At least in Hybe, they just decide whatever it is that they want to put out. Um, so just remember that BTS is not just an artist under Big Hit. They're also the fifth biggest shareholder as a collective. So that comes with power and a lot of responsibilities. And always remember, the success of Hybe is their success. You don't want them grinding forever. So you want Hybe to be successful without them, because that's going to benefit them. At some point, they're going to want to slow down, do other things. You still want them to earn. This is their legacy. Hybe is BTS's legacy. Make no mistake about it. Other groups will become popular in the future. CORTIS might become popular in the future. Someone told me stop calling them CORTIS. It's CORTIS. Okay, so CORTIS might actually become popular in the future. Maybe the Seraphim is going to be more popular, and then ILLIT and Cat's Eye or whatever. But make no mistake, it is their legacy. So don't try to destroy the legacy that they've started. Okay, thank you, Nadira. Sending holiday greetings, Fiorini. Thanks for all that you do. Thank you so much. Okay, I think that is the last slide for that topic. Do you have questions? So yeah, no one has absolute control over everything. If BTS moves to another label, they will still not have absolute control over anything. So always remember that. That's the answer to everyone's question. I'm just amazing that it has to be spelled out. But I thought everyone understands that when he was talking about don't have authority to talk about this and that and whatever, I thought everyone will understand that automatically. It's amazing that other people still don't understand that. Okay. Do you have questions before I move on to the next topic? I thought you're going to say with great power comes great responsibility. I was, but I already had my movie moment in my video this morning when I said our mission, if you choose to accept. I was going to add in the ending of the video that this video is going to self destruct in 1 minute. Okay. Um, so questions or reactions, Leia, me too, do double ads and glitching, and I am over the pond. I like some grinding. Letting everyone know PayPal and Venmo merged. Ooh, who bought who? PayPal bought Venmo, I'm guessing. Hive will support their music best if they transfer to a US label. They won't be able to release the music they really want. Yes. Just like Halsey. Now she's such a big star, but the label is dictating what kind of music she's going to put out. They don't want her to do another experimental kind of music, or they want her to go back uh to the angsty pop kind of sound, because that's what sold the most. But yeah, majors are going to definitely have a say in their creative, and going independent, like owning themselves. That's great, but you will still need the majors to break into the global market. You can't set up a company. There's a lot you need. distributors, you need PR people, you need legal, you need just, my gosh, a lot of these fans don't even know what they're talking about. You set up a business, they think that you make the call and everything. No, if you're the owner of a company, you work more. Venmo is a subsidiary of PayPal since 2013. That's all. Leia, we are neighbors. I think the fandom also spread that misinformation that they are in complete control. As you said, no one has complete control. No uh, fandom should stop saying it that way. You mentioned Cortis, not Cortez. Cordis, you mentioned Cordis. It would be interesting to look at all the hate towards BTS from Cordis fans at the moment, as in if it's actually coming from real fans or not. I don't think so. I mean, I'm pretty into the fandom of Cordis, and I don't hear them like talking bad about BTS. If that is the case, so I have no doubt it's going to happen in the future, but I think it's going to be more haters setting themselves up as fans, just because they wanted the rock the boat. I think, Cordis themselves have admitted that being with Big Hit actually comes with a lot of privileges, but of course it doubles the pressure as well because they have all the resources that BTS got and set up because of their success. Then they have to be as success twice as successful because they already have the resources that BTS has to work for to get, right? And they acknowledge that, by the way. They acknowledge that in one of their interviews, they actually stated that, yeah, we know that we're able to do this. Like, we're actually able to go to Los Angeles and work with all of these producers because it's Big Hit, because it's BTS. So they themselves know that. Um, did all BP sign to American label except for Jisoo? As far as I know, she is the only one who has not signed. But the three for sure. Lisa actually has I think Lisa is the one that's diversifying the most. She has she signed a project with Netflix with Ma Dong Sok. It's Taigo. And it's going to be an action film. So congratulations to her. I'm very happy for her. So it's a big break. I think that's what her goal is anyway, to be as diverse as possible. I do think that she doesn't want to concentrate on just one industry, not just the music industry. So she's getting it. So congratulations to her. I need another Halsey Sugar interaction. Okay, so any anything else before I go to the next section? Speaking of Cordis, some fandoms from Nugu companies are accusing Big Hit for their awards, especially in A and Mama 2025. Oh, well, that's not gonna stop. Lisa and J Hope was the interaction that made me smile. Yeah. So, well, again, that's not surprising. I do remember J Hope interacted with, what's that? There was another BP member. He interacts. So, oh, Jenny, right? You watched the show. I mean, was it Jenny? Anyway, I think they're friends. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I mean, J Hope has always been is a perfect gentleman. These haters come from external forces, correct. Cordis always mentions and gives BTS props in the interviews. Rose, oh, yeah. Rose is the one he interacted with. I do think that at some point the reporters need to stop asking Cordis about BTS. I think at some point, I think by now they should stop. They should stop mentioning BTS or asking them about BTS. Primarily because, okay, I don't want BTS's name dragged into anything, right? Second is that you do need to give the boys an equal chance, like a fair chance at this. And if you keep on dragging BTS into the conversation, it's not going to feel that way. They need a chance. They need an honest chance. So just be to be fair, it takes away from Cordis and also it takes away from BTS, right? Okay. Next question is, has Army left BTS? Because there's this prevailing narrative that BTS is not going to be as successful. And a lot of people are talking about, like, look at your YouTube views. Like, you're not breaking the record anymore. We still have the record for the most watched music video in the first 24 hours. Okay. But a lot of fans are saying, okay, it's the fandom has shrunk. And one of the reasons that people are giving is that we're not breaking YouTube records anymore. Number one, I do not think that YouTube is the absolute measure of how popular a group is. It's a good, it's one of the measures, but it's not a popular measure. But also, do remember that YouTube has changed their algorithm. Okay. And so they continuously do that. They change their algorithm all the time. And so if you would observe, many groups that used to do well in YouTube has now gone down in numbers as well. And if again you think about it, groups that are actually putting ads, they're already putting ads and they're still not breaking the record of BTS, right? You know who I'm talking about. Groups are actually using ads and they are still not breaking the record of BTS. And that speaks of how YouTube itself, Google, the mother company, Alphabet, the mother company of YouTube, of how they actually changed their algorithm to be stricter. Okay. So okay, so that's one. What has BTS released on YouTube lately? I think they're talking about the solo songs of J-Hope and Jin, the ones that they released in YouTube. Okay. So, however, let's look at other numbers outside of YouTube. Highest grossing tour by a Korean soloist in history, 84.7 million is actually J-Hope. And this is one guy in BTS. One guy. um, for context, a lot of I think currently Stray Kids is on track to break the record and become the best selling tour, to have the best selling tour for their Dominate tour. They're going to break the record. And there are 8 people in that band. And I think they're gonna go to like 300 million or something. And this is one guy, 84 million, 84.7 million. So I mean, multiply that by 7. Okay, let's just assume that not everyone who supported J-Hope will support BTS, or there is an overlap or whatever. That's beside the point. This one person. There are a lot of people in the fandom that chose not to watch his concert because they are saving for BTS. 84.7 million, one person. He didn't just sell out venues, he actually oversold venues, including BMO. The stadium, the mini stadium that he had a concert in. Um, Jin, his so the final numbers aren't in yet for the entirety of his tour, but for July 2025, he became the first Asian soloist to surpass 30 million in gross revenue, plus 200,000 tickets sold or attendees in the Billboard monthly chart. First Asian soloist to surpass 30 million gross revenue. Imagine that. And that again, that's just one person. So multiply that by 7. I know that there's going to be overlap. And then before that, it was Suga. And Suga did it in a scale no one even thought of. I mean, for a Korean soloist or many Asian native soloists, the scale that he did it, I know that he admitted he made a mistake. He should have done a stadium. He was asked if he wanted to do a stadium. Well, actually, Big Hit suggested that he does a stadium, and he declined. So he did admit that it was a mistake. He should have actually done a stadium. But even then, even if he did not do a stadium, when he did it, no one else dared to do it at the scale that he attempted to do it. And then he became the best selling, highest grossing tour by an Asian native soloist, 57.2 million. I don't know where this narrative that BTS is not popular is coming from. And then if for the Korea, Spotify Rap Korea, most streamed act is BTS. And the last album was when? 2022. So again, right? So after BTS, this is Korea, by the way, just Korea. BTS, Stray Kids, Jennie, Rose, Huntrix, Twice, Blackpink, Jungkook, and Hypen, and then Cat's Eye. Okay, so the most streamed act. So this is their entire discography. And then the most streamed K-pop tracks is Apathy. This is for global. Apathy, Golden, and then Who. The thing is that Who was released 2024. and he did not promote it because he was in the military. Don't Say You Love Me, and then like Don't You Love Me by Jenny, like by Jin, and then like Jenny. Your Idol by Saja Boys, Soda Pop, Standing Next to You, released in 2023. And then How It's Done by Huntrix, and then Gabriela by Cat's Eye. It's amazing to me that they're classifying Cat's Eye as a K-pop group, by the way. Most streamed artist just in Korea. So the other one was K-pop acts globally. Okay, this one I know some people are gonna get confused. So this one was Korean act but global. This is Korean act in Korea. So this is the number one is Jimin. He hasn't released anything since 2024. And the last time that he released something, he didn't promote it. And then Jungkook is Imunyong. I think that's Imunyong. And then Jin, and then Jungkook. And then Huntrix, G Dragon, Rise, New Jeans, Espa. It's too small for me to read. Okay, so they're still there in the top five. And then if you go, wow, BP members have more support in Korea. We are okay. The BTS fans grew up, many now work or have families. And then the most streamed songs in Korea. Number one is Who, released in 2024. Again, unpromoted. Don't Say You Love Me by Jin. Seven, released in 2023. Promoted for like 2 months. Um, Winter Ahead by V. Come on. It's like released 10,000 years ago. Standing Next to You. All of these songs were released forever ago. Be Mine by Jimin. And then the others like Dash, I think. Okay. So top six, they occupy most streamed songs in Korea. So this narrative that they are not that armies left, I don't know where it's coming from. Most streamed albums in Korea. Number one is Muse, released in 2024. Golden, released in 2023. Echo, K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm Hero by Lee Moon-young, and then the others. Made, can't see the others. Happy, oh Happy is Jin, number 9. And then like Jenny, Ruby. Okay, it's too small, I can't read. Um And then if you go to weekly top songs in USA, the freaking song is still USA, okay? USA. The freaking song is still ranking. Who is still there? Imagine that. This is US ranking. Okay, US ranking in Spotify. He's still there. Who is still there? Just 69 weeks. I don't know why you're saying that BTS is not popular anymore. And then if you go global, Seven is there by Jungkook, released in 2023. Okay. People can't get over the song. Didn't Jungkook win an award recently? Yeah, it was a Desang. So I forget the name. I'll remember in a bit. And then of course, who is also in global. This is his 72nd week in global. And then, funny enough, Jenny is still favored above Lisa in Asia, while Lisa is more favored in the West. Mm, yeah. Well, Lisa has way more collaborations with Western artists. That could be the reason. And he's also getting a lot of breaks, like performing in the Grammys, performing. Those are good, you know. Okay, next is on global still, Spotify Global, Don't Say You Love Me. It's already on the chart for 29 weeks. And then I've mentioned this in my live stream last time, that Are You Sure season 2 landed at number 10 most watched globally in Disney Plus. And this is just two members having the time of their lives traveling. It's not even music, and people are still watching it. So, and this is global. That's tough to break. So, this perception that Army has left the fandom, I think, comes from the algorithm that you allow in your feed. So, if you continue reading all of this tweets and posts on Facebook or on threads or wherever it is that you are, if you allow that to continue flowing in, then that's the perception that you're going to form. That's going to influence your impression on someone because that's what you keep on reading. So, but numbers say otherwise. You don't get one member to have the highest grossing tour for a solo artist if your group is not popular. So, no, I don't think it is true that armies left. I do think that we changed. I think that there are armies that have actually, like, for example, from my timeline, I just, it's just, I've only consumed positive content. And so it's not Wendy's timeline, it's Tinkerbell's timeline. It's so positive, it could be just Tinkerbell's timeline at this stage. Because I don't consume anything negative anymore. I only learn about the negative things when someone sends it to me, and because they know I won't click, they send me the screen cap. And also, um, what are armies around RM telling him? People also discount the fact that BTS has a lot of casual fans too who will be back when a new song drops. True. I have to confess, I haven't watched Are You Sure season 1. I'm one of the armies busy with life. There you go. Because I do think that we have a lot of armies have actually grown up. We've moved on. Um Not moved on away from BTS necessarily. It's just that got married, got children, got a new job, started a business, and so the way that we consume content of BTS also has changed. It doesn't mean that we're not doing it anymore. It's just that some are just prioritizing the ones that really matter. They stream, they will watch the concert, but they don't join the narrative anymore. They're not in social media anymore. They would scroll once in a while, but that's it. So my advice to everybody who keep on thinking that BTS armies left and they're not coming back is to change your algorithm. Then you're going to change. If what you are getting are news about them breaking records, being in Spotify rap, setting new standards, then your perception will also change. I do not doubt. I do not doubt that when they release the tickets for their concerts, it's going to be a bloodbath. I have no doubt it's going to be a bloodbath. So I dread, I dread the competition. I really dread. If there is a way I can, I can disconnect all of your internet connection and until I buy my own tickets, I'll do that because oh my gosh. Um, Due to financial reasons, I've had to tone down what I buy. And yes, life happens. There you go. Right? Just happens. True, it's so much better to have cleaner timeline, more peace of mind and happy times. Yeah. So that's what I would advise. If you want something better, if you have want a better perception on where BTS is, try changing your timeline. I just saw this. It was so funny to me. Saw this in not I did not see this. It was sent to me, and this was one of the politicians in South Korea talking about Bang Shiyuk. So worldwide Wi-Fi outage. So when that happens, you know that it's my doing. I'm not that good. Maybe I will beg Elon Musk. Can you find a way on how to disconnect their internet connection? Just until I get my ticket, then you can restore. I'll let you know. If Elon actually finds a way on how to do that. It This was just so funny to me. This is a politician and he was sort of complaining about Bang Shiyok. So he said that he was talking in the Congress and saying that the relationship between management and artists. I just like jumped into the next topic without telling you. Like the relationship between management and artists is the most important as a trust relationship. And he said that he called Bang Shiyuk to inquire about Ithaca Holdings, but he did not answer. I sent messages too, but he deleted them. Bang Shiyuk can't handle the truth. And I'm like, what business do you have asking him about Ithaca? What business do you have? Like why is that any of your business? This is so Korea is so funny. Uh, is it possible that Hybe might operate in China? That's a slippery slope. I think they are trying. What they did is to partner with Tencent. I think that's their first step. But I don't doubt that that is one of the things that they are going to try and make happen. But first, it's the way China is doing business will have to change first, because right now they don't want any foreign. They don't want investors from certain country to come into their country over. I know, right? When I who I know, when I saw this, I was like, you're asking Bang Shiuk about Ithaka? Like, what business do you have about Ithaka? Like, why is that any of your business? Like, no, he doesn't have to take your call just because you wanted to ask about Ithaka. It's none of your fucking sorry. It's none of your freaking business. I just just uh this politicians in Korea. Now I'm gonna do something. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try and make the speed better. Yeah, I think these politicians are as delusional as K-pop fans. They think it's their business. Now I'm getting a better understanding on why the culture of Korea is like this. If you have politicians who think it is their business to talk about the private businesses in other countries. Oh my gosh. Okay. Um Miss Fairlane, I we need to talk about the awards that BTS members won in 2025 as it gets to the end of the year law. Yeah, I have a rundown of different things that I will be publishing. Some of it I'll be doing in here, some of it I'll actually be doing in my videos. But yeah, there's going to be a rundown. So awards that they've won, records that they've broken, things that they've started, things like that. So there is going to be a BTS review for 2025. Um, yeah, like the video. Okay, so one of the awards that they actually got, well, it's more of a recognition, is the Presidential Commendation at the Fifth Republic of Korea Good Donation Awards at for their global donation campaign Love Myself with UNICEF, which raised 9.2 billion won for children and youth around the world and for contributing significantly to the spread of culture of giving. So they are, I think, the youngest recipient of this. RM spoke about struggling with short form content. What would you suggest them do, or what would you want to see from them as a short form content? Um, I fully trust that they're going to do whatever it is that they feel is going to be best for their group. But I do think that um, sticking to their guns is the best way, meaning do what you have done before. I think it is always a good, like, it's a good thing to cut down longer content into shorter forms. That's okay. But I think creating content specifically for short form, I don't think it's a good idea. Primarily because the old fans are really there because we like what they've done before. So I think, but just want to emphasize that I have full faith that they are going to do what is best for them. Okay, UNICEF is a scam. So they got recognition. One of the awards, major. Well, I think they're the youngest recipient of this awards. I always like watching long content form. Shorts aren't enough. Hybe has a ton of experience with short form content now that BTS can draw upon for ideas. I think, like, cutting down to short form, I think is good, but like creating specifically for short form is. Jungkook is on the cover of Rolling Stone Japan, UK, and Korea. And so this is the first multi-country cooperation. So this is like a sh- tight shot of his tattoo. This is the part that they've improved. One of the So the upper part is something that they're like building on, according to policy. This is not according to me, according to the tattoo artist. So this is just a close up of that part that they have like really improved on. So I hope that we get more like tight shots of the tattoo. It's really a work of art. So I know that it goes up into the, but it's beautiful, right? I like it actually. I like it. So beautiful. So it marks the first collaboration between Korea, UK, and Japan in Rolling Stone's history, and Jungkook was selected as the first model for this project. So this solidifies this global pop star. So if you can, I think you can. So the in the US you can actually buy the UK version. Could we see JK's arm in person, please? I'm sure a lot of people would want that. So they are so this is one of the questions asked about from him. They asked him, with new music from BTS on the horizon, can we expect more solo offerings from Jungkook? And he said, this is a time where I can evaluate whether I can take on another leap forward rather than doing the same kind of performances or similar songs repeatedly. I'm trying new things and continuing to evolve so I can show different sides of myself. So the good news is that a solo project is in the horizon. I think for him, he's thinking about it, or at least he knows he's going to do it in the future. I'm very happy about that. I do want him to grow as an individual, as a solo artist. So that's good news. But please, if you can buy the UK version, I think that's what's going to be available in the US. They said it's going to be released internationally. So you can go to Rolling Stone, the website, and you can buy it from there. I am not sure if they are available in Amazon, but okay. Um, Hello, are you aware of the Reddit community focused hating BTS with 70K followers? There is some proof about the fact that they were the ones who planned Jungkook's hate campaign and V's one. I heard about this. I don't know. I don't really go into Reddit for those reasons. So, as I've said, I have sort of just chosen to remain very positive. But yeah, I've heard about it. Someone said that someone actually came forward and said that they were that there is a group that initially were actually getting paid to do some negative PR about BTS, and then some people just joined on a voluntary basis. That I've heard about. But as I've always said, you can't stop these people from spreading negative things about BTS. The only thing that you can do is to make them irrelevant. So if you do not pay attention to what they're saying, no matter the amount of negative things they say will ever matter. Anything about BTS's personal lives is not a negative thing. That is just simply none of our business thing. So that's the, for me, in my opinion, that's the best response. Anybody leaks a video, a photo of them on a date with somebody, the only answer is that it is none of our business. True or not, none of our business. So you can manipulate any AI you want, you can create any kind of scenario in your head, but it really is none of our business. So go ahead and waste your time. Armies will just continue supporting BTS. But the answer to your question is that I've heard of it and you can't stop them. So, oh gosh, the toxic solos will love JK's answer to that Rolling Stone question. Is it true that they may all reap what they if true they may all reap what they sow? I agree with you. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'm excited for him as a solo artist. So, uh, I know that he is thinking about it. I know that it's coming. I'm excited, but he also said that for now he wants to concentrate on BTS. So I guess that's his focus for now, and then we're going to see what's going to happen after that. But that's too far into the future for us to think and imagine. So I think we just also try and just concentrate on what they're doing as a group. Okay. Now, next is that the world album charts. So the number one is Hop. This is both one and two is Stray Kids. Second is Karma, and then the third is Muse from Jimin. So he is the highest ranking solo song in world album charts, and this is not just Korea or K-pop acts. This is global. So it is dominated by K-pop acts or Korean acts for that matter. But the highest ranking solo album is Muse by Jimin. And then the next one for BTS is Proof at number 10. And that was like forever ago, but it's still at number 10. So this combines physical and streaming and then computed for sales. Okay. So congratulations to them. You have I think Tyla is number 7, so that's 80s 2. That is number 6 and number 8. Soundcheck and Hypen at number 5. And Hypen at number 5 and number 9. Imagine that. So 8 of 10 Korean acts. And then 2 each from Stray Kids, I guess if you consider Jimin, BTS. I mean, not as if you count his album as a part of BTS, but he's also a solo artist, of course. And then you have 2 from Enhypen and 2 from 80s. Okay, next. Um, I streamed Echo so much. Stray Kids has now joined BTS with this because they occupy 1 and 2. They have now joined BTS as the only Asian artists in history, native Asian artists in history, to achieve the distinction of occupying, actually, no, Asian artist, period, to occupy both number 1 and 2 positions in the year end Billboard World Album charts multiple times. Imagine that. Okay. Congratulations to Stray Kids. Okay, we're in news and updates now, by the way. And then, yeah, Muse is the highest ranking album by an Asian soloist, number 3 in Billboard World Charts. So, congratulations to him. And then the Are You Sure photo book is available now. Tomorrow. It's going to be available tomorrow. It has 2 volumes, 168 and 44 pages. So I think 168 for Switzerland and then 44 pages for Vietnam, capturing the unique mood and destinations. And then there is an extra 69-minute video features unreleased behind the scenes footage of variety show Are You Sure? So in the first one there was like 12 minutes I think or 20 minutes or something like that of extra footage. This time it's 69. That's one show. They could have gone to the cinema for that. But and it's I think if they have done that, it's going to be okay. Also included are passport notebook and a set of tickets that bring their journey to life, along with 6 photo cards and 4 instant photos conveying the essence and vibe of locations. So um okay, so only 40, like for $40 like last year. Maybe it's going to be like 70 this time. No? Huh. Okay. For those of you who actually want something positive, so this account, you can visit her X. It's BTS Diary 613, I think. BTS Diary 613. That's her at on Facebook. She actually created and this was just her personal project, and I posted this on Patreon as well. So she documented BTS updates from 2024 to now to 2025. Every update that we got from them. This woman is a champion. So this is her. This is what her project is. So if you actually go there, like all that, like every social media update, ad. Oh, sorry. Are you seeing it? Wait. Yeah. Okay, so every social media update, the link I actually posted in Patreon, but like all of that SNS update, variety content, Bangtan Bomb, tour, SNS, all of that. And then there's the link. So if you click here, it's going to take you to the link. It's just so there is almost 2,000 updates since 2020. That's just 2024, not even 2023 and 2022. So is this her job? Is this her job? I think she just like decided this was going to be like a personal project that she was going to take on. But my God, it's comprehensive and it's worth a look. If you're looking for something positive, please give it a visit. It's really good. Like she was very busy. So she said almost 2,000 content. I haven't even gotten to like I think I've clicked like 10 links. And she was doing it. I mean, she was the one doing it. I'm just clicking the links and she was just doing it. Fairly can't wait for BTS's new album 1, 2, and 3, etc. All positions locked by BTS. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. So try going to her website, going to her link. If you don't have it, it's in the I put it on Patreon. But wait, I think I can put it up here in the chat. And then her ID, so that's the link to her work. And then the ID is BTS Diary 613. So what she does, she's retired. I don't know, but her account is an archive account. So this is what she does. Like she would just really archive things of BTS. Sometimes she would translate, but she said she's not fluent. So mostly she's an archive account, a good account to follow because she really just archives things of BTS, but really a good account to follow. That's a lot of work. So people can complain BTS is not provided content. Oh yeah, they go. Of course. I mean, I I don't know how armies forgot that these 7 guys decided to enlist right around the same time so that they can shorten the period they're not together so that they can come back to BTS armies. And during that period when they were actually signed, they were enlisted, they were serving the military, they were releasing content, they were publishing their content. How many albums did we get during that time? I mean, come on, right? She's a retired librarian, archivist. Um, I think it's DHL or UPS, and they say there has been no content from BTS. Ah, no, that part I never believed. Come on now. um, okay, so there is always a contention about Golden because it is going to dominate the year-end charts. It's going to end up as the most streamed, highest sales of all K-pop albums, and people are like, "It's not a K-pop album. It's not this. It's not that." It is a K-pop album. It was just simply not produced by uh, a K-pop company. So let's give the 3 girls their flowers, especially EJ. She deserves the recognition. She was the one who wrote the song. You want to come to me? So let's give her this. Let's give her the recognition. She did a good job. And it's a great song. Come on, come on. All right. He's back with vengeance. So, all right. So, but it's going to be the best-selling song and most streamed song, for 2025. So, congratulations to her. Let's give EJ this. She worked hard. She wrote this and she performed it well, and nobody can ever perform it the way that she does. So, I it's just Fairlane, this is a labor of love for BTS for sure. She's amazing. Yeah, give her a follow, please. BTS Archive 613. She's great. And if you look at her content, it's like she's just really archiving things. Like for armies, things about BTS. So please give her a follow. And then Cortis, someone told me stop saying Cortis. So Cortis, they are the first fifth gen group to actually get 7 million followers on Instagram. They also had an interview with Billboard. So if you can, please read the interview. It's really good. It's just them giving their reaction, how they feel right now because of the success that they are getting from their first album. And a lot of it, I think a lot of people are going to question that because their concentration has been in the foreign market, North America, Latin America, I guess. So, but it is extremely, extremely successful. So, next. Next, there are so I'll It. Okay, give it to that. So I'll It Not Cute Anymore has reached number 1 in South Korean Apple Music. They're the first girl group to achieve multiple number 1 hits in the platform in 2025. So they were getting a lot of flack for not getting another song that is as popular as Magnetic, which I think is a pretty difficult thing to do. It is magnetic after all, but they are doing well in the charts. So they are also in Spotify Global. They've been there for 20 days. So they are currently at 163. So that's up 36 spots. And they are now at 1.2 million streams a day. You love their B side, not me. I love the that's great too. Not me is great. Not me is great. But I love the not cute anymore. I love the choreography. I love everything about it, actually. Um next is that they are also they do the dance becomes the most streamed song by a fifth gen group on Spotify in 2025. It surpassed Hearts to Hearts The Chase, 85 million. So, congratulations to them. This is the second consecutive year that they have been number one. So, congratulations to the girls. I can't wait to watch them in an actual concert. So they are so for 2025, the most streamed 2025 songs by Spotify. On Spotify by fifth gen group is number one, Do the Dance by ILLIT, Hearts to Hearts The Chase, 85.8 million. And then Cordis, Go, 79.1 million. Amazing considering it was just released. And then Meow, Hands Up, ILLIT, Jealous. And then Cordis again for Fashion, 68.1 million. So that's one, two, three, four. Four out of six are in the top six. Huntrix Golden deserves all the accolades, no doubt. Yeah. And she's great. EJ, give her the flowers. She deserves it. She's been working so hard to become an idol. She finally is getting her dream. So she deserves it. I really think she deserves it. I wish her all the luck. I wish her all the success. I know that she's working hard to make her mark, and I will be supporting her. Okay. For Les Seraphim, Come Over by Les Seraphim is named one of the best songs in 2025 by Consequence. It is the only non-fiction K-pop song on the top 100. When I first heard it, I was like, non-fiction K-pop song? I realized, oh, K-pop Demon Hunters. So all the other songs, K-pop songs in the top 100 are K-pop Demon Hunter songs. And then they are the only ones that is non-fiction. Amazing, right? So Come Over. I love that song. This is actually my second favorite Le Seraphim song. And then Hot by Le Seraphim is the most streamed 2025 song by any fourth gen K-pop act in Spotify Korea this year. Amazing, right? Okay. K-pop group charting on worldwide Apple Music top 200 currently. ILLIT at number 1, not cute anymore, number 47. So this is currently this day. Number 1 is ILLIT, and then Fashion, and then Go, and then Jump at number 83, and then Spaghetti by Le Seraphim at number 90. So 5 all new groups except for new meaning 4th and 5th gen. Le Seraphim. I know, I'm so proud of them. I can't wait for their next album. I'm sure it's going to be a smash hit, and then they can do their next concert. So I'm hoping in their next concert is going to be multiple arena dates and then stadium. Okay. Now for Twice, their tour, This Is For, is slated to become the biggest tour by a K-pop act in North America, pending the confirmation from Mexico. So a lot of people were questioning why did they go from stadium to arena? And I've explained the reasons, but one of which is the fact that they wanted to do a 360 because they wanted to maximize the venue. Because if a lot of groups do this, they go Assalamualaikum, alaikum, I master that. Alaikum assalam. Did I say that correctly? Okay. Okay. So initially, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of K-pop acts would do a stadium and then they would cut the venue. They would only sell half of the capacity. So what they wanted to do was actually maximize the capacity. So it ends up being the same amount of tickets. But because it's an arena, everyone still has a good view of them, and then they get to do the 360 stage. So this is not surprising that they will actually end up being the best selling. This tour become the best selling tour by a K-pop act. So pending in North America, and most likely just like overall. So pending the confirmation from Mexico, they're probably gonna take the wa is what I keep on forgetting. Wa alaikum salam. Okay. I keep on forgetting the wa part. All right, thank you. I'll try to master that. Okay, Stray Kids dominate world tour right now is so 263.4 million gross revenue. Tickets sold is 1.983 million. So they are the best selling uh tour, right? They are on on track to become the best selling tour pending their encore. So they have 6 days for their encore. They haven't announced when that is. And then Twice is second with Ready to Be Tour, but they are going to take the crown with This Is For. Okay. Who hasn't watched K-pop Demon Hunter movie yet? EJ said Jungkook might do the voice. Ooh. And then Twice will also hold 3 shows in Japan National Stadium with up to 80,000 capacity, becoming the first and only foreign or K-pop act to headline the biggest stadium in Japan. Hmm. So they're not the only act, but they're the first foreign or K-pop act to headline the biggest stadium in Japan, which is the National. And they're going to do it 3 nights. 80,000 tickets sold. Imagine. Wow. Anybody who doubts the success of Twice, send them this. So only 3 acts will be performing on the same day in Japan. But of course, different venues, of course. So you have the ESPA 25th and 26th in Tokyo Dome, and then TVXQ 25 and 26th Nissan Stadium, and then Twice 25th, 26th, and 28th Japan National Stadium. Imagine that 3 acts all in the same day. It's going to be like chaos. Also, congratulations, Stray Kids, because they've, for second week in a row, this is the first time they actually managed to stay inside top 5 for the second week in a row. So they hold the record for the most number of number 1 albums in Billboard 200 consecutive since their debut. And then now, finally, they managed to have some sort of stability because they usually just fall after, but good job this time because Stays actually managed to keep them inside the top 5. Oh, and big news. Republic Records. This is funny to me. Not the group, not this group, but what the agency said. So Republic Records is going to launch a boy band. It's JYT, that's the name of the boy band. And they said that this is primarily driven by the success of Hybe in launching different groups, specifically for North America by Cat's Eye. So they believe that the pattern by which Hybe is actually doing it is working and they want to copy that. And they said that, by the way. They feel that they said, oh, the market is ready and Hybe is doing like they're doing it right. So they want to test if the market is really ready for a boy band. Because the last boy band that we had was successful was NSYNC. So they feel like, oh, maybe they're ready now. Let's see. Someone better whisper JYT. So yeah, it was funny because they actually admitted it. And then for Ticketmaster, the judge is going to allow a class action lawsuit against Ticketmaster. You might get mails asking you to join the class action lawsuit. So that if you would remember, there was this one individual who sued Ticketmaster for allowing the resale of the ticket from a much higher price. And they said that you're cheating people and stuff like that. And so they sued Ticketmaster. And so the judge said, I will allow, and Ticketmaster tried to drop the charges, get it dropped. But the judge went back and said, nope, I'm not going to drop it. It's not going to be dropped, sorry, but they will actually be allowed. They will allow it. The court will allow a class action lawsuit. You might get a mail asking you to join. Okay. Yay for class action lawsuit. And warning for all internet, for bloggers, for influencers, for those that are using social media to defame idols. Great news for celebrities. Megan Thee Stallion wins a defamation case against a blogger. So she did say she's not really after the money. She just wants punishment. She wants it known that bloggers or influencers, those that are behind their keyboards, cannot just spew anything they want to say and damage the career of celebrities. So, congratulations for what she's done. I hope that this spreads so that people know they can't just do that. They can't print anything they want to print and get away with it. So, um, didn't the boy band Alice not do well? Yeah, so that's why Republic is actually saying that they're going to look into the model of Hive. How Hive is actually do able to do it with Cat's Eye. Okay. Simon Cowell's boy group show starts Netflix tomorrow. Ticketmaster needs to be sued to hell and back. SM didn't follow up Dear Alice. Good for her. Happy for Megan. Word. Music 20 years. Okay. Do you have any reactions, any remarks, anything you want to add before I end? Thank you for being with me, by the way. No, we very much do not need another boy band. While people defame BTS members daily, but that's okay. Nice, Megan. Champion for truth and justice. Yeah, congratulations to her. I'm glad that she followed through and actually stayed on it. So she means business. So I hope that more people know about this so that those people that are behind their keyboards will at least practice some caution. Okay, are you sure it's called artist development? Are you sure photo book is on sale now? Oh, good. Okay, I'll order mine. Okay, so are you sure photo book is on sale now? She said, and I will be watching Are You Sure the next two episodes now. Well, in a bit when it's published. Okay. BTS and Cordis are enough right now. Just all right. Do we know the numbers for live streaming and theater show of the Tannies? I'll talk about that in the. I'll do that first in the members only live stream. I don't want that publicized yet until we get some confirmation. Just get the photo book notification. Thank you. Okay. Say bye bye, Dabak. Say bye bye to everybody. Say bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye. Bye everyone. See you Wednesday. Bye.